All right, so Chapter 7 here, Workplace and Apprenticeship 30. We're going to talk about how to use the cosine law when we're given a side situation. So remember, you use the cosine law when you have side angle side, and you can solve for one of the sides, opposite of the angle. Or if you're given side, you can solve for one of the angles. And here, you can just pick any angle that you want. This one says calculate Q, but you could calculate P or R as well. So we're going to calculate angle Q. So how are we going to do that? Well, if you want to write this down on your Q sheet or memorize this, you can, but you don't have to. You don't have to memorize that. Let me show you how you can just go from the cosine law you start with, just the regular old cosine law that you've either memorized or you've got on your Q sheet, and you can go from there. So I would say this. So the Q here is going to be part of this cos of Q, right? Oops, cos Q, not theta, cos Q. So what's the opposite side to Q? It's 16.9. So guess what? I'm going to put 16.9 squared on the other side. That's always what we do, right? A side and its opposite angle go on either ends of the cosine law equation, okay? Then we're going to fill in the other numbers here. So according to this, we're going to use 21.6. We're going to square that. We're going to add that to this one, 31.2 squared. So we got all three sides accounted for. We're going to subtract 2 times, again, 21.6 times 31.2. Sorry, I'm a little crowded there. Now, okay, now is where you have to use your sort of algebra skills and you have to move some things around. So what we could do is, I'll just show you this. Because these are all separate terms right here, those are separate terms, I'm going to pull them over to the other side by doing the opposite operation. So I'm going to subtract 21.6 squared and subtract 31.2 squared from both sides. So that's going to give me this. 16.9 squared is already over there. I'm going to go minus 21.6 squared minus 31.2 squared. And then here I'm going to leave all this here for now and show you what to do with that next. Cos Q. Okay, that's the first step in isolating for Q. We want to get rid of Q. Now, the big mistake that often happens, okay, is students, they add this to both sides because they see a minus there, and they add this to that. You can't add it because this is not a separate term. It is multiplied by cos Q. So instead, what you have to do is you have to divide both sides by this. Okay? And I'm just going to leave all the terms there just so you can kind of see what's going on. 21.6 times 31.2. Okay? And when we do that, then this divides off with this. And we're just left with cos of Q. All right? Now that looks pretty complicated, but if you look closely, it's very similar to what they have here. The only difference is that, you know, our signs are a little bit different. And if you remember in the last lesson that I didn't really like how they just dropped the negative sign and changed all these signs, but whatever. I like this way better because you can start from your regular cos law equation and find the angle every time. All right, so if you could do this on your calculator, and I'll show you how to do this on your calculator all in one step, because many of you would be interested in that. But we have to take cos to the -1 of this. That's how we get rid of the cos. Okay? And that leaves us with Q. So this is what we have to figure out. And on the calculator, we would start by doing this. I'll do second function cos of. Now, I'm going to put the top part in brackets and then the bottom part in separate brackets as well, just so I keep everything separate. Okay, cos of, I'm going to do the brackets, 16.9 squared minus 21.6 squared minus 31.2 squared. And I'm going to close that off in brackets. I'm going to do divided by another set of brackets to show that I'm going to do divide by all of this multiplied together. So -2 times 21.6 times 31.2. Make sure I typed all that in correctly. Okay, so it looks like this is okay, and I got to close the brackets off there as well. I think so. I got 2 left brackets there. I need 2 left brackets on the far right there. So if you're wondering if you have a calculator like this and you've got all these brackets, you don't know if you've got the right number, this is what I would do to check. I've got 1, 2, 3 left brackets, and I've got 1, 2, 3 right brackets. I'm good. They all work. So we hit enter, and then am I in degrees? I am, thankfully. So 31 degrees. That's what I get. Q equals 31 degrees. Now, if I plugged everything correctly into my calculator, and I think on this page, yeah, here we go. So here's the work that they did here, and 31 degrees. Now, if you want to evaluate the top separately and evaluate the bottom separately, and then do the division there, simplify that, take some more time, take some more steps to do that, feel free. But that's how you can do that question. Okay? Does that help for a side question? Yeah? Anybody have any issues with that or questions about it? All right, just I guess one final thing I'll say, if you want to find the other angles, okay, you can now use the sine law, because cosine law is a little bit more involved. It's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more work than the sine law. So now that you have Q being 31 here, guess what? You have this magical pair here. And then you can use this number and find this one, let's say. And then you can use 180 minus these two to get this one. So you can now have different options. You can use the cosine law again if you want. So you have different options there, okay? All right, remember, as always, you can head over to mrmathwell.com and check out all these videos. This video will be going up here on this page, your Workplace 30 page.
Like, comment. Go to mrmathwell.com.